Hello, everybody. I wanted to share my portfolio with everybody and kind of give you a run through of the portfolio that I created and as this website has been developing. First thing I want to say is I'm really excited to see where it's taken us this last couple of terms. And one thing I've always wanted to do is design a website. It's a professional goal of mine, so I feel way more confident now that I've had this opportunity to do this in this course. A couple of things about my website that I want to share with folks that I learned even this week in our learning. First thing is watching the video that we had for this week. They had 7 principles that I thought were very valuable. One of the first principles was too many choices, not necessarily a good thing. And then looking at other principles such as the story, which is principle number 6, principle number 7, commitment, and sprinkled throughout there is the what do you do to get people to continue to come back to your website. So starting with too many choices, not necessarily a good thing. One of the things I did was with the buttons up across the top here. I actually simplified them, and I took all of our training materials and courses and everything we've done up to this point and put them in different categories. So here's the About Me, and thanks to Jonan from last term, he helped me reorganize these to start out with this term, and then I've just kind of taken it from there and created more subcategories and glum things. I like this simple, clean design, and I might actually use it going forward in terms, provided that things can fall into these potential 3 categories. So with that, let's start with week number 1, and we'll go over to basically my sample course. One of the things that you'll notice throughout this presentation, you'll see this particular Prezi presentation come up quite a bit. That is because I try to basically, as we learned throughout this week, I tried to incorporate it into this Prezi presentation. This particular presentation is about helping veteran service officers de-escalate a tense situation. In our needs analysis class, I actually did a needs analysis in that area. A couple of things is that I started off with the backward design in week 1. That's where we learned about backward design, and I started off there, to learn what was the end result of what we wanted, and that's where I came up with my 5 learning objectives. Um, and then one thing I will say about Prezi, you'll notice in this Prezi presentation that there is 3 different technologies that are being used. I will offer that if one of the technologies that I used was PowerPoint, and when you embed a PowerPoint into a Prezi presentation, you can't actually then go back and fix that PowerPoint inside the Prezi. That became a very unique challenge for me as I went through this a few times, because there would be little things in the PowerPoint that I would want to change, and in order to do that I would actually have to go back to the PowerPoint, make the changes, then upload the slides, get rid of the old slides that I didn't need, add in the new slides. It was kind of a cumbersome process. But I did like PowerPoint because, as you can see here, it kind of was clear guidance. Sorry, Jonan, I'm kind of stuck to the old numbers and bullets and stuff. I try to get away from it as much as possible. Some things are kind of hard for me. So moving forward, in week 2, we learned more about learning objectives in online learning, create a set of course level and module level learning objectives. So here's the course level. If I go forward, here is more into the module level, and I created, as you see here, 5 modules along the way. And then alignment, week number 3, we talked about creating an aligned learning module, including an assessment, assignment, content, and objectives. One thing I learned during this week was, and I actually submitted it at one point and then came back and did a little more tinkering, and that's where this POW tune came in. And it was more of my introduction to the entire course as a idea. Then moving on into week 4, we started talking about principles of technology facilitated, and this is about engagement. What are some of your principles for engagement? Now, I have to be honest, when I first started engagement, Let me see if I can go here. Go down, Gus. There we go. When it came to engagement in the beginning, I created this really cool presentation, and I used a video scribe. Great product, but it only gives you 5 days for free of it. What I did like about it is I've always wanted to do this draw design kind of thing, which I'm doing here. Um, and it was great for that, so I could, come up with different ideas, different concepts, um, and basically just do this whole process that you can view, and then have a final product at the end. It would look basically something along the lines of this right here. Again, great product, but you only get 5 days for free, so that was kind of a challenge for me. Um, but I really enjoyed using it, learning a new tool. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about this course, both terms, is the learning of new tools, and the idea of technology. So moving forward, designing a project-based online learning. This is where we wanted to look in week 5 about creating a multi-module set of staged assignments for online learning. For that, we moved back to the sample course, which again is the Prezi, and this is the de-escalating the situation. And in this particular thing, what I ended up doing is this is individual assignments. And I had a lot of fun with this actually. Um, and I should tell you that long term, I really, really want to basically um, um, use this just training program creating to be able to actually teach a class on helping folks de-escalate tense situations. So here you have the individual based, in these videos, it's, watch the videos, do some feedback, that type of thing. And then I took it one step further, and this, let me see if I can get to one of them. When it came to, you know, looking at collaborative design in week number 6, what I did is I embedded, so I created an individual base course, but then I took it one step further and I embedded in little group assignments in each one of the modules. And you'll see another one here. There's another group assignment. And the idea was to just basically continue to build on what I was doing for the individual courses, because this could become a group course for that matter. And my hope is that this could be a course that could be taught either online or in person. Although I'm a little bit more excited about possibly in person, but I would love to see how it would work online. Week 7, we talked about designing creativity in a learning environment. And so for me, to me, creativity in a learning environment um, can be technology based or it could be in person. And you'll see from my presentation here that there was some basic principles to maximizing creativity. And I talk about identifying the learning outcome, what is the student's motivation in learning, and allow for alternate paths to the outcome, and then acknowledge and celebrate the learning. These are the things that I felt was important, and I kind of then broke it down. I will say a little shout out to Powtoons. It's a very easy tool to use whenever you're doing these kinds of things and these type of presentations. I'm very excited about it and have really enjoyed learning it and then adding in little pieces about myself in particular. So moving on to week number 8. Now, one of the things I liked about week number 8 is I got to take a couple of different designs, principles in learning, and I got to talk about, let me look here real quick, where am I? Let's see, instructional design, yep, right here, sorry. And I got to break them down and just look at them, and I chose to look at backward design and elaboration theory. And in this particular Prezi presentation, I decided, instead of where all the other ones I created my own template, this one I actually used one that was existing, but I got rid of a couple of features. So here, it's really easy. One of the nice things about Prezi is that it's very straightforward in how to use. And there's a narration that's going on in the background here as well because I used the screencast-o-matic. Let me see. Nope. So, you could see, and one thing too that's interesting is when I first created this presentation in backward design, I had it flowing from right to left. And afterwards, as I was viewing it, I said, that just doesn't make sense because it's backward design. It should flow from left to right. So a little bit of reworking it made it change and that type of thing. So um, moving on, then we look at the learning theories and instructional design within technology, and one of the things that I did there, because this more encompasses about my philosophies, and the ones and the type of teaching philosophies that I like, I decided to put this in about me, and I titled it My Three Favorite Learning Philosophies. And the three that I covered was self-directed learning, uh, transformative, and storytelling, as you'll see here. Again, using Powtoons. My hope is that in the future that I'll be able to learn some other technology-based tools. One of the challenges a lot of times with these tools is that they either have a very limited amount of time you can use them, or if you don't get the premium accounts, they won't necessarily let you use some of the more cool features that they have available. So, um, one thing that's interesting, if I was to give you some personal reflections on this last two terms and what it's meant to me, is I will offer that I believe that I have become a better trainer, educator based upon the tools that I'm learning, not only just the tools, but also the theories. I really like backward design. Elaboration theory was kind of interesting to me, but learning more about self-directed learning and transformative learning, and then actually applying it into creating modules for individual learning that builds upon itself, and or collaborative learning that builds upon itself. Just recently, I was putting together a training for Gulf War disease syndrome, which is a pretty big thing within our veterans from 1990 till about 1993. And a colleague of mine had done a training on that just 2 years ago, and he covered law, which can be kind of boring within the VA system, and then he covered 19 different conditions that fall under the Gulf War syndrome. Um, and as I was looking through his presentation, what was interesting to me is that he had 64 PowerPoint slides, and I am going to do a training that's approximately an hour and a half. And as I was looking through all of his slides, I'm like, this is a lot of good information, but I don't want to do 64 slides. So one of the things I did is I really pared it down to 20 with a couple of training exercises that consist on a couple of the slides. And I remember telling somebody that one of the things that I've learned from this course of study within Jonan's class and then our day class that we're taking is that technology should be looked at as a tool to the learning, not the learning itself. And for the longest time, I think that I looked at technology as the learning and not so much as the tool. We provide the learning, we use the technology to basically impart that learning. So it's been a great time. I hope you guys enjoy my narration, and you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you. And to end, to infinity and beyond.